Alright, so if you've seen the previous video where I had collision issues, I have fixed those, but I had to rewrite my entire collision system. So previously I had axis aligned bounding blocks or bounding boxes that would be created anytime you did a raycast against a block, and that was worked well when the blocks were more or less cube shaped. Um, but I wanted to introduce slope blocks like so. Uh, and an axis aligned bounding box wasn't good enough for the slopes. And so what I ended up doing was to define a struct that contained all the triangles for the model and check all of those triangles for collisions. And it works. It works pretty well. I can do raycasts against blocks of any shape, so I can set the textures on all of these. Um, but I still have trouble with collisions with the slopes. I can collide with the slope and stop, but I cannot climb up the slope. I can jump up there and land on the slope. The height is correct, but I can't push forward up the slope. And so I'm still trying to figure that out. And if you have any instructions for fixing this, I'd be glad to hear them. Um, so yeah, that's basically it. I just rewrote the collision code, and that actually helped a lot because the original code I had it designed so you'd have to define the model and the collision shapes separately, and then anytime you wanted to pull up either the model or the collision shapes, there was this long switch statement on all of the block types. But I've reorganized the code so that the block structs with the triangles are used to do both the model building and the collisions. So I only have to define the block shape once for each block. And then I wrote a helper function that contains that switch statement so that I no longer have to update a dozen switch statements. I can just update the one in that function and it fixes everything. So if I can just figure out slope collisions, then I should be in good shape.